I got to kick this thing off. Can I kick it off? 1, 2, 3, 4. Ladies and gentlemen, listen.
Yo, what's good, everybody? You are now listening to another episode of the Man Listen Show. But before we get started, let's hear a few words from our sponsors.
He's adding that flavor to your function. DD's Daiquiri. Good people, good vibe, one drink at a time. Good people, good vibe, one drink at a time. Flavor to your function. DD's Daiquiri. Good people, good vibe, one drink at a time. Good people, good vibe, one drink. Wanna kick back, wanna just vibe. Wanna kick back. Let me first slide to the drink store. Let me just buy DD drink mixes, all of them fire. Fill me up a case, I'm finna drop bread. Marvelous mango, classic and red. Took them to the party, these folks won't leave me alone. They wanting me to share, they better get their own. DD's adding that flavor to your function. DD's Daiquiri. Good vibe, one drink at a time. Good vibe, one drink at a time.
What's up, everybody? Conversate with Us Radio presents the Man Listen Show. We are the blackest radio show on the internet. We bring you our opinion on topics that affect the Black community in an effort to enlighten, enrich, and empower every brother and sister that falls under the sound of our voice. We operate on a no-hating frequency, so be prepared for us to keep it 100% real and 100% Black all the time. Please follow us on social media, on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Man Listen Show. You can also subscribe to the show on YouTube, iTunes. Give us a thumbs up, leave a comment. Go to our website, www.manlistenshow.com. You can listen to our shows there, listen to all of our past episodes, current episodes. Make sure you share the show and make sure you let everybody know about the blackest radio show on the internet, the Man Listen Show. I'm your host, Mark B. Let's bring the crew in. All right, y'all. So how y'all doing? Y'all good? All right.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. So one of the biggest things in the news right now is the boy Elon Musk. Elon, that's a hell of a name, Elon Musk. That sounds like some terrible cologne or something.
Hey, man, I think of Jovan Musk. Back
right. Yeah.
Hey,
Why you playing? My pops used to rock the hell out of Jovan Musk. And you know how like kids were named after like colognes and whatever. I got a godson, my oldest godson. Me and him actually had the same birthday, and his mama named him Jovan after the cologne. So yeah, but anyway,
and she could have named him Juke. You know.
Right. Juke went out when he was born.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You know, she couldn't name him Michael Jordan, but anyway, I kind of gave a little side eye when I was shouting out our social media, because Elon Musk bought Twitter. Now, I think he bought it to the tune of $44 billion. And there's a lot of controversy behind this because he is the richest man on the planet, right? And basically, he has full control over a major media outlet, Twitter. There's news that he plans on taking it private. He's talked about some of the changes that he wants to make to the social media platform. A lot of people, their first minds went to, okay, well, Trump's coming back to Twitter, you know, if Elon's taking over, because one of the things that he wanted to talk about was keeping Twitter a place for free speech. And in my mind, when somebody talks about free speech, it's never for, you know, people like us who are talking about, you know, bringing truth to power. It's really more so for rich, you know, elite, basically white folks to be able to say what they want to say under the guise of free speech. That's just Mark B speaking right there. But a lot of people, you know, have major concerns because of how rich he is and how he's able to basically control this media outlet. So we're going to talk about everything that goes along with it. Start off with C, because C, I know you probably out of all of us, you probably use Twitter the most. What you think?
Well, I don't know. So yeah, I do get on Twitter every day just because I feel like that's where I find the most news, and I just don't have to look at a bunch of pictures of everybody on Facebook, graduation, proms, and all the other stuff. Like Twitter, I can get what I need and get out. Um,
Dang, hey,
so
see, like the Scrooge. You don't even want to see the babies go to prom.
Right, it's prom season. My
a few,
goodness.
I
a
was
few
just
of them.
thinking that.
So I like a few of them, but just sometimes it just gets too much. It just gets to be too much.
You
But
like
I do
you
like
like
Twitter.
you. Hey, see, you like me. You like the ones where the black boys taking the black girls to prom. That's what you.
I mean, just all of them. It's just
Like
too
two
much.
or three.
Yeah, too
And
much.
that's
So
it.
I mean, I get on Facebook for a couple different. I guess I can kind of say like business ventures. Other than that, I don't really get on Facebook. So I kind of think that just from reading the brief stuff that I have, I think people are probably making a big deal out of nothing. Even though he's saying that it's going to be, I guess, an open forum and people can say what they want to say, it's going to come with limits because he didn't get where he was. He's not gonna, it's not gonna be a liability. He's not gonna let, Trump or whoever else just, spew any type of rhetoric and stuff that doesn't make sense or lies and stuff like that. Or he's not gonna let people threaten people because I've been put in jail a couple of times by Twitter and other social media just for making smart comments. And they say those are like violence threats. Like I don't think, he's gonna stop anything like that. I think so. I don't know. I don't think it's gonna change.
I mean, I definitely have my concerns about it just because, like I said, having like the richest man on the planet being able to control a platform, you alluded to it. See, a lot of people get their news from Twitter. I know that, if something's going on, something's trending on Twitter, or people will say like the whole Will Smith, Chris Rock incident. I knew that, people were like, hey, what's going on? What's going on? They were saying it on Facebook. I knew immediately to go to Twitter because I knew Twitter would have the link to show it, right? And it was just a brief search. So Twitter does have value. I don't think that they've been able to monetize Twitter like they have Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. So it's behind because of that. But because so many people get their news from there, and when you have somebody who has that much power and influence, being able to control something that so many people use for information, that is somewhat concerning. And I'll just be honest with you, he's a white dude from South Africa, born under apartheid. I don't really trust him. I just don't. I don't. He's kind of said some sideways things in the past. And in my personal opinion, I think it's just going to become like a cesspool for them white supremacists to be able to, do the stuff that they do. And basically, next thing you know, we have another January 6th going on because there's no limits going along. I don't really doubt the depths or the how far white supremacists go. I don't know if he's necessarily a white supremacist, but he grew up in the system of white supremacy, like for real, like we all did too. But like he grew up in hardcore apartheid. So that's just my thoughts on it. But Lav, Rika, what y'all think?
Honestly, I was thinking last night, like my brain was churning as a lawyer as to how I would draft the agreements for Twitter. Like to me, I would change the user agreements to kind of shield myself from the potential lawsuits that could happen. Because if his whole goal is to allow people to just come on there and say whatever they want to say, I would change the user agreement so where you have to agree to not sue me for offensive language or speech by any of the other users. I'm like, and then so to me, that becomes like a challenge as an attorney to trying to kind of step out in front of all the crybabies that might come being like, so-and-so hurt my feelings. Because back in the day, we used to be able to say whatever we wanted to say. And there weren't any repercussions. Now comedians can't say certain jokes. People can't say certain things. You get put in Facebook jail, Instagram jail, Twitter jail, whatever. And it's annoying. Like I got put in jail for saying like, I don't even know what I said, but it was so general. Oh, I think I was probably like, if it was me, I'd have beat his ass. And then I'm in Facebook jail or Instagram jail, wherever I was. And I was like, dang, I ain't say I was literally gonna go drive to do house, but even like that. And it's like they've taken policing to such an extent where you can't even say stuff jokingly. Like My husband gets put in Facebook jail like every other week, but he's in like these groups where they actually know each other and they say, inappropriate things to each other, not in a malicious way, but in a funny way. Say anything that Facebook thinks is inappropriate, and now you're in jail. And I think there's a way to kind of maybe bring some balance back to people being able to say whatever they want to say without everybody being able to cry about it. I'm sick of people crying, personally.
Well, I mean, I think that I always question how the algorithm is really working. And maybe it's just because I really only mess with primarily Black people, but I think that you got all these different people on social media, saying different, like, racial stuff or code words or whatever. But it seems to me that it's like Black people being targeted. Like, you see, like, they talked about the creators on TikTok, how like they would build their platforms and build up following with millions of people, and they were monetizing, and then like the app would just close their account out. No reason given, no anything, but basically y'all just making too much money and we're not gonna let y'all make money off us. So I understand what you're saying in terms of like, okay, maybe they're going too far, because it is annoying. Me and C talk about it all the time, how Facebook is always misinterpreting something with the algorithm and saying you're promoting violence or whatever. It's super annoying and it's stupid. But I just think that whenever you start saying we don't want any more control, that just gives white folks carte blanche to try to, do stupid stuff and, target us. That's just my personal opinion. But Lad, what you think, bro?
I think you hit on something else as well, talking about the algorithms and stuff. Artificial intelligence also skews heavily to where it doesn't benefit Black folk. So I mean, that's historic. So that's what they're using for these algorithms. So of course, what you're talking about makes sense. But as far as Twitter goes, I think Elon Musk, as the richest man in the world, to buy Twitter, I think he is trying to monetize it, like you said. And I think what he's gonna try to do is probably make it like, it's a premium site. So you got to pay. There's a free version and there's a premium version and in the premium version, you can pretty much say whatever the heck you want to say, and get away with it without having any quote unquote repercussion. I think that's what he's trying to do. I don't think it's going to work, but hey, we'll see.
But they've kicked that idea around in the past. I mean, people have asked like, would you pay for Facebook? And I think resoundingly, most people was like, hell no. I wouldn't pay for Facebook.
Man, everybody keep paying $5 extra a month for Netflix. They would pay for Facebook.
And Netflix asked about to go too.
Wait. You say that though, but Netflix kept upping their price, and last week they stock just went in the tank because they kept upping their price, and it went to what? Because,
but what do you use more, Facebook or Netflix? And it's not even close.
Neither one.
But guess what? If Facebook tried to charge, I'd be on Twitter. I would. I'm not paying for Facebook. I'm not paying.
I'm an Instagram fan. I want to see them pictures. He don't want to see.
But the thing about it is,
all the time.
Well,
Instagram is Instagram owns Facebook owns Instagram. So
right, they do. They do exactly. And
so where's Black Twitter gonna go?
Black Twitter's gonna go.
What's gonna happen to Black Twitter? What's gonna happen to Black Twitter?
Black Twitter's gonna go wherever. Yeah, exactly. They're gonna go back to Black Planet. You know what I'm saying?
Let's go Black Planet.
But no, that's the thing. There has to be a Black Twitter app or something, similar to Twitter. There has to be one out there or be in development, something, man, that we could just migrate over to. Because even if he doesn't charge, because of everything you said about Elon Musk, I think I'm probably going to use it less. I usually have, if I'm sitting at home working around my desk working, I have it running in the background because I do use it for daily news and to get updates and stuff like that. So
I think that I know Tariq Nasheed tried to create his own social media app, and I think he was probably the most successful, and he wasn't even successful with it because it's hard to get people to migrate from something that's working. Like we, in our age group, like Facebook is where we go to stay in touch and to, keep in touch with family and friends. It's just what we do. Our kids are more TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat. That's their thing. So to build something that's outside of that, you got number one, the barriers to get in terms of like financial, being able to scale it and to hire developers who can eliminate the bugs and to make sure that it's functional. Because if it ain't functional, people just gonna go right back to Facebook. And I think that was a problem that Tariq Nasheed kept running up against. And then we got a problem with being unified anyway. We can't even agree on reparations. We can't even agree on reparations for all Black people. So how are we gonna get people to say, okay, we only going to use one app for Black people? So I don't know, man. I would like to see it, but I
don't care. I don't care if it's used by Black people. I want a Black owned product. I don't care if white people use it. I don't care whoever uses it. I'm talking about a Black owned product.
You're preaching now. You're preaching right there. Okay.
And it's just gonna take time too. That's the thing with, I don't know. I really don't know how long Tariq did his thing, but it's gonna take time. Like people that are on Facebook now probably have, thousands and thousands of friends and people they follow. So they probably, even if they were active on his, they were probably going right back to what was comfortable, where everybody was, where the person they're either crushing on or where their family is or who they're spying on. And so it's just going to take time. Like he would have to actually put something in play now and then just see where we're at 10 years from now. Because even Facebook, I'd say, what was it? Probably 20 years ago, over 20 years ago, like back when we were in college, Facebook then it's not what it is now. So I think he just needs to give it more time.
Well, Facebook, first of all, people like us couldn't even get on Facebook at first. It was only for college kids.
And in only certain colleges too.
Yeah, and then you could only talk to the people that you were in college with.
Right. Yeah. I don't know, because obviously I was out of college, but I was more so the Black Planet,
MySpace.
I even met a Mi Gente. They had the Hispanic version of Black Planet. I
had no clue.
No
I met a Mi Gente.
We don't speak Spanish. You do.
Wait a minute.
You know what
no
I
clue.
So,
what?
Yeah.
Everybody, all three of us was like,
yeah, Mi Gente is like my people in Spanish. They had their own.
I put a lot of work into that MySpace page though.
Man, too. I learned code.
Wow.
I wrote a little
you got the music playing and all that. Yeah, absolutely.
That was like a part-time job getting that MySpace page popping.
Who is it? Like your top 5 or whatever? What was it?
Yeah. Your top 5.
When people came to your page, your background had to be popping, your music had to be popping, it had to be up to date.
But then there would always be a hater. There'd always be a hater that would like leave a comment like, "What's up, boo?" And you'd be like, "Damn, girl, ain't nobody supposed to know about us. Why are you talking on my page?"
Man. And you only went to people's page to find some messiness.
Right. Yeah, you straight being nosy, reading all the comments. Like, who's on their page? Yeah, exactly. Man. So we talked about reparations. And I didn't see it because, again, I'm not on Twitter like that, but I heard that people were talking about an African American owns Twitter because Elon Musk is from South Africa and he owns Twitter. And that drives home the point where we always said, nah, I'm not African American.
Exactly, I'm Black.
I'm ADOS.
Yeah.
I'm ADOS or I'm Black because if you think about it, hell, Charlize Theron is African American.
Yep.
She blue-eyed and blonde hair.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I think it's even more important that, hey, because like what if they say, we're gonna give all African Americans reparations? Elon Musk gonna get reparations?
Right. Yep.
So yeah, but I think he's a Afrikaner. They call it it's a AFRIKAN.
The K.
Yes,
they got an extra K in there, of course, or they use the K. I wonder what that stands for. What does the K stand for?
Okay.
They'll put that third joke up in there, but yeah, I don't know, man. I don't trust dude. I think he's gonna bring Trump back to Twitter, and I just think it's a mess. I mean, he got Tesla, right? And Tesla's doing his thing. If you own Tesla stock, it's busting. The dude's trying to go to space. He's got his SpaceX.
Yeah,
but they're taking people into space. There's a couple other companies that
he's doing
owns.
the Hyperloop thing, the speed train in the US, trying to get the Hyperloop here.
Really?
Yeah. They got a test track they doing that in, like in Nevada or something. You know, they got it in Japan and stuff already. Here.
Oh, really?
They've been talking about that in Texas for years. Supposedly they're supposed to start on developing and building it between Houston and Dallas, where they're going to build a high-speed train. You know, and listen, I took the train today because I had to get my truck worked on, and I got my guy Paco is back, where I used to live, and my only kid that could give me a ride was the one who's scared to take the highways. So I was like, all right, well, just take me to the train stop. Man, I could have took like a $70 Uber ride back home, right? But I took a $3 train ride. It took me an hour and 45 minutes. But I rode, but it was actually kind of peaceful, you know what I'm saying? Cause you just ride the train and whatever. But if they come up with a high-speed train, I'm definitely using that because I'm all about mass transit.
Yeah, exactly.
Because Uber is crazy. Have y'all rode Uber lately?
I ordered one for my son.
Heard the price is ridiculous.
Y'all know I don't mess with Uber. I don't get in the cars with strangers. I still listen to the words of my parents.
You don't use Uber?
Hell no. You can drive me to some unknown location and kidnap me. I've been kidnapped before. That shit ain't.
You can track it and see video the whole time.
It's safer than a taxi
so what
cab.
You can see where I'm going? I don't get in taxi cabs either.
So how you get around if you don't have your vehicle?
You just
gotta have my vehicle.
Like when you travel though, like if you go to
like, because you leave, like you vacation a lot and like even go out of the country. So like, what do you do then?
So either I have a male companion, and in that case, I will use public transportation. But if I'm just using my own wheels, I'll get on the train. So like I went to Denver when I went to Arizona by myself to meet my ace. I took the train.
Oh, okay.
They can't kidnap everybody on the train. They kidnap me in that car.
Robbing stagecoaches.
I mean that makes sense. That makes sense, from because I often there's a privilege that I have being, 6'3", big ass black dude. I'm really not scared in most situations because I know that if somebody is going to attack me, they're probably going to be like real lethal and probably just shoot me, and I'm probably not gonna see it coming. But not too many people just gonna run up and I ain't Billy Badass, but not too many people gonna run up and choose me to rob. But
right. Yeah. Right.
But what I do, like if I send a Uber for one of my girls, one of my daughters, or, say I'm helping a female friend or whatever, they do have the ability where you can send a location and you can have somebody who is tracking you the whole time. So, there's safety precautions that are in there.
Yeah, when I'll send them sometime for my son and I could see like the vehicle moving the whole time. And I used to just like, be on FaceTime with him all the time. And now he's gotten a little older. He's only 15, still not really even supposed to be riding in him, but they don't seem to mind. They come pick him up. They get tipped well. But like, so a lot of times now he'll just hang up the phone, but I can still follow it and see it. And they'll tell me like when he gets home and stuff. Yeah. And my husband works from home, but he's 15, but he's 6 foot. So I don't really think like Marv said, I'm not really too much worried about him as it would be if it was a daughter. So.
Right. Yeah.
I think for me, when I was a professor, one of our assignments revolved around Uber's independent contractor status. And so they keep those drivers as independent contractors so that they don't have to take responsibility for the lawsuits that are filed against them. Yeah. And so one of the papers that my students had to write revolved around like incidents where Uber was avoiding liability. And so for like 2 years, all I read was Uber incidents. Like this person was hit in the head in the hammer by an Uber driver. This person was kidnapped by an Uber driver. This person was run over by an Uber driver. So like for 2 years, all I read was Uber driver stories. And I was just like, nope.
That's why I used to be scared of taxi cabs. You remember when there was like those serial killers in New York when they would get in the back seat and they would put all those fumes and they couldn't open up the door and stuff, like the gas, make them pass out. Yeah.
Well, I mean, for me, there's two things. It's like the quote unquote gig economy. Like at one point it was good for us. So like, okay, start from the beginning. Used to be back in the day. See, you're talking about New York and those taxi cabs. Back in the day, black men couldn't get taxi cabs, and it wasn't probably to the same extent like in the Midwest where we grew up or whatever, but that type of discrimination was real. So when you have Uber and Lyft and those apps come into play, they really leveled the playing ground, right? Because you secure your ride and you get it. And then what you had those taxi cab drivers who were discriminating against black men primarily. I'm sure they were discriminating against sisters too. They had to pay a heavy upfront cost to get that shield. You had to have a shield and your registration and all your licensing to be able to have a taxi cab. Well, then here they come complaining, talking about we can't eat because of Uber and Lyft. And all those black people said, and you discriminated against us for years. So to me, that was the benefit of things like Uber and Lyft. However, to Rika's point, when you have like the Airbnbs, the Lyfts, the Ubers, basically anything where you're not really hiring somebody, where you're giving them benefits, where if something happens, they're eating the failure instead of the company covering the person. That's when we as black people continue to lose. And unfortunately, it's an option that most of us have to resort to when you don't have, jobs that are paying, like everybody else. So I see both sides, but I'm all for Uber. I'm all for Lyft. I'm not with these prices though. These prices is crazy right now. So I mean, Joe got to do something. Joe got to do something about these student loans. Joe got to do something about this inflation, these gas prices. I need Joe and Kamala to put in some work.
Y'all, Soror sick. She can't do no work. She ain't did no work, and now she's sick, so she definitely not about to do no work.
Who got Soror? You the only one that got.
Oh, now y'all not constitutionally bound.
Yeah, constitutionally bound.
Constitutionally, whatever. Yeah, let's not get
that same energy. Well,
I saw when that came across my phone, and they gave all the good. They said Vice President Kamala Harris, who's been double vaccinated and double boosted, still caught COVID. And I said this gave all the anti-vaxxers all the ammo that they need. Oh my God.
But I don't think that it doesn't resonate. And then I saw a new article that says something about how people who are unvaccinated are increasing exposure for some variant of COVID for people who are vaccinated. It's not that I don't think that people who are unvaccinated are running around like, haha, you guys are dumb to a certain extent.
Right.
But I think that there are people who are
you can't because the people who really getting it are the motherfuckers who ain't vaccinated. So you really can't say that. But go ahead.
Well, everybody's getting it. That's my point. My point is that you can still get it when you're vaccinated. That was always the concern.
But it's nobody never said that you couldn't.
It's not a vaccine, it's a symptom suppressor. I just needed to have the name that is really applicable. It's not stopping you from getting it. You take the polio. Hey, you take the polio vaccine, you're not getting polio.
But it's
you take the COVID vaccine, you can still get COVID.
The flu people, you take the flu vaccine every year, you can still get the flu.
Yeah, that's why it's not a vaccine. It don't make sense. The math ain't mathing.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying, but I think for a lot of people, it wasn't about necessarily getting it. It was about mitigating or lowering the risk of serious illness and death. And I think that's,
a great reason. It's a symptom suppressant. It suppresses the symptoms and then prevents you from having like catastrophic, outcomes from getting sick with it.
Right.
That's an amazing selling point. But that doesn't make it a vaccine.
I met a woman today that said that her husband had caught COVID. This was about a year and a half ago, and he ended up having to be in the hospital for 3 months. And she said 4 times they tried to get her to sign, I guess, the form to like pull the plug or whatever. And she refused it. And finally, the 5th time, she just kind of like went off on him. And she didn't say she cussed him out because I don't think she cusses. But she said she just went off on him and told him to stop asking her about it. And then 2 weeks later, he started getting better and better. And now he's walking around talking and working and stuff. I'm like, what if just one of those 4 times she just went ahead and listened and pulled the plug? I wonder how many times that happens, not just with COVID, but with other diseases and illnesses too.
Yeah, there's a financial aspect of that too.
Yeah.
You know, because some people it's just like, hey, I can't afford it. And
Right.
hey, you know,
I don't know what's gonna happen.
I don't know what's gonna happen. Yeah.
I don't want him to live like this. He wouldn't want to live like this, or she wouldn't want to, and sometimes it just needs more time.
Well,
I can't even imagine.
I was in that position, and it was, you know, my oldest brother caught COVID, and
Yeah.
it got to that point, and we had to make that decision. And you know, the exact words that you said, you know,
Yep.
I don't think people want to live like this, and
Mhm.
that. Hopefully, I'm not telling too much of this business, but it was all over social media anyway. But
Yeah.
that just drives home the point of having your living will, having all your paperwork together so people don't have to guess. You
Right.
know, so we took a guess. It was hard, it was devastating to make that decision, but just thank the Lord that when they took him off, he breathed. He's a
Yep.
tough, you know what.
He's
And
still
you know,
here.
he's
Yep.
still here, but you know, it very well could have been the other way. So
Yeah.
I mean, I just think that, you know, for people who are at high risk, it's still I'm still pro-vaccine, and
Yeah.
I've been double boosted because I'm in one of those high risk categories. I've had it before, and it really, you know, had a strong effect on me. I don't like how we just acting like COVID is over. Like I told you, I was riding the I was riding the public transit system. I probably saw 2 or 3 people wearing a mask.
So I was about to ask you that before you said that. So did you have on your mask? I take it you did.
Absolutely had on my mask. Absolutely had on my mask.
Man,
For
you
real,
know where
for
I
real.
live. I ain't seen a mask in a month of Sundays.
I ain't really ain't seen no mask, and I'll be honest with you, I kind of slacked on wearing my mask. Now, if I'm in a grocery store or department store or something like that, I'm wearing my mask.
Wear them at Walmart. No telling what's floating around in there.
Gas station, I'm wearing my mask. But if I'm going into a place like a bar to meet some friends or a restaurant, I'm gonna take the mask off anyway to eat and drink. So I'm like, why am I wearing my mask up in here? So,
Right. It was, yeah.
But I was at the doctor today, and people was in the doctor's office with no mask on. I said, they really tripping.
Yeah, I see that every day.
They really tripping.
Man,
so,
they still
I mean,
I think you still gotta wear a mask at my doctor.
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
I got my
Yeah.
first mammogram last week and they was masked up.
I say I got my physical on Thursday, so I was gonna take my mask. You know, I
Yeah.
thought we was gonna have to still wear it. Maybe I shouldn't take it.
I think people just aren't really wanting to fight with it so much anymore. I think there's still signs up everywhere that says, you know, you should, especially in hospitals and doctors' offices and stuff.
well, I think the telltale sign going to be, you know, after this summer and when the fall hits, and typical flu season, and I guess we're gonna start calling it COVID season too. You know, we see how it shake out if the hospitals start to be overrun again. I mean, I don't think we ever gonna have shutdowns again. I don't
Nope.
think anybody has the heart for any politician or anybody has the heart for that, especially the way white folks acting, talking about this is slavery. You know, like
Taking away our rights.
Taking away our
Right.
rights, man. Come
Right,
on.
right.
You know how the Cajuns overreact. But okay, so what I didn't realize is that Hawaii has been asking people to stop visiting because of COVID. They's like, our hospitals and stuff are still overrun. Please stop coming here. And people have been coming.
Really?
So their government really is trying to shut. Not their government isn't willing to shut down visitation, but they have been actively asking people to stop coming to Hawaii, and people don't care. I like, so by the time I heard about it, they was like, we've been asking people to stop coming here for months. I was like,
Well, they
no
have all the
idea.
control over it. Why not just shut down the airports and tell people they can't come?
Well,
have control like that.
exactly.
That's like saying, I don't think you can do that though, can you?
That's
Unilaterally
Right?
in the
Can you
United States.
shut down the airport?
Well, I mean,
Well-
airports are run by, they got airport commissioners. I don't know who runs the airports. but-
FAA, Federal Aviation, don't they?
Right, but
I mean,
can the state?
if no one is working there, they
Yeah.
can't make you.
Well, no, absolutely. I mean, because New York was trying to bar people from coming in, right? Remember they were saying like people from certain states couldn't come into this state. So it technically, they
That's what I'm
really
saying.
could. I mean, you think about it. I've never been to Hawaii, but the people that I know who have visited and who have actually lived there, the one thing they talk about is how small it is.
Yeah.
It's like, you think that, because we live in like big, expansive states. Like, well, I do. I live in Texas. you would think when you see it, it's like, oh, it's this big, massive area. It's a real small island. So you think if people are bringing in their diseases or whatever, it'll run through it, and there's no way for them to really
Get
the
away from
infrastructure's
it.
not there. Like, you come bring your stuff, and then you fly back, and here we left with everything, the devastation. So it's I ain't mad.
Yeah, so that's basically, I guess, what they're going through. So, when you think about that, like how you said what New York was creating these regulations to kind of prevent people from coming in, you would want to say maybe they could do this kind of quarantine period where you got to be quarantined for 2 weeks, and then people wouldn't want to come there because they don't want to be quarantined for 2 weeks. But so, just because the state is behind it doesn't mean the government is behind it. So their state representatives and people might not be preaching the same thing they're preaching.
Right. I think though that probably for them it's a double-edged sword. They probably don't want people to come in, but think about what other industry do you know Hawaii to have?
Right.
Sugar maybe, but tourism is what stirs that coffee. You know what I'm saying?
And they got that Disneyland resort too, because I've been meaning to go there. That's my only real motivation for going to Hawaii, is to go to that Disneyland resort. And Disneyland don't play by the same set of rules as everybody else. That's why they down there fighting with Governor, what's his name?
DeSantis. Yeah.
Yeah, he really
saw that.
He cut his nose to spite his face.
He did.
So stupid. So he's really. But here's the thing though, and then we're gonna wrap up. If he runs, Biden in trouble. Now, if Trump runs, I think Biden's gonna get reelected, like hands down. You got two old farts, right? But if you got that fool DeSantis, even though he is a massive idiot, he's young and a lot more. He is not as polarizing as Trump. But he's close. But if DeSantis can beat Trump, well, I don't know he can. Hey, it's gonna be a problem for Biden.
So you think Biden's gonna run again?
Biden his phantom handshakes.
Yeah, Biden gonna run again. Who else gonna run?
I don't think he's gonna have the ability to run again.
I hope somebody sit Biden down. Medical reasons.
He's probably gonna sit down himself before his time's up.
He's got old man syndrome.
So you don't think Biden's gonna run again? I think if Trump, I think he's gonna wait until the last. I think he's gonna wait until the last minute. He's gonna wait until the last minute because if Trump runs, he's gonna run.
There's only so much medicine you can weekend at Bernie's and do them. He's just not going to go a whole nother term. He can't do it. Right now, they're just, they probably are putting him.
How old is Joe? How old is Joe?
Fluids, and then go do your 15-minute speech, and then he comes back and he's probably just passed out the whole time. He's not working.
Is Joe 80?
I think he's 78 or something like that.
Yeah, close.
Well, they just was the dude that Orrin Hatch. He was a senator from Utah. He just died. He was 88.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Hey, he can still be up in there. But anyway,
he's 79 right now. Right now, Marv, he's 79, and you're saying
I'm telling you, Paul should not be president. We need to start cutting that presidential age at 60.
Agreed.
Well, we're gonna see. But anyway, I think we talked about enough. Make sure y'all follow us on Facebook, Instagram, maybe Twitter. I don't know if we're gonna stay on. We're gonna stay on Twitter, y'all. We're gonna stay on Twitter.
I ain't on Twitter. Of course.
Man, listen, okay. See, said Man Listen gonna stay on Twitter. So follow us on Twitter at Man Listen, at Man Listen Show. Go to our website, www.manlistenshow.com. Bang our cash app, $ Man Listen Show. We need the dollars. All right. I'll holler at y'all. Peace.
Peace.